Okay, let's look at how to add hyperlinks to logos with Snagit. And we're going to recreate this example here where we've got a logo with three social media icons for Facebook, Twitter, and an RSS feed. Each are hyperlinked to separate external websites, like the Articulate Word of Mouth blog. So the first thing you want to do is download and install Snagit if you don't already have it. Snagit is a screen capture tool and an image editor, and it's not free, but it's fairly inexpensive, and there is a free 30-day trial if you don't have it and you want to try it out. And you can find it at techsmith.com/Snagit. So after you've downloaded and installed Snagit, then you'll need to open the image that you wish to use for your logo in the Snagit editor so you can add your hyperlinks. And before we do that, I want to point out that the maximum dimensions for the logo panel are 244 pixels wide by 324 pixels high, which is just over half of the sidebar. So if your logo happens to be larger than that, it will automatically get scaled down to fit within those dimensions. So it's something you might want to keep in mind. All right, so once you have your image, you want to open it in the Snagit editor, and you can use pretty much any image format. And if you don't already have a logo, in a lot of cases it's pretty simple to make your own. In this case, I just used three icons, inserted them into a PowerPoint slide, grouped them together, and then saved it out as a PNG file. So right-click your image, scroll to Open with Snagit Editor, which launches our Snagit editor interface. And then we want to go to the Hotspots tab. And we've got three options for adding hotspots to an image: a rectangle, a circle, and a freeform shape. And you can add one or multiple hotspots to a single image. So in this case, we're going to add three circles. So we'll select the circle shape, draw a circle on top of our Facebook icon, and then we need the link to the Facebook page. So we'll copy that and paste it into the link field. And then we need to recreate this for Twitter and for the RSS feed. So I'm going to pause momentarily and do that. Okay, so I've added the three hotspots to the image, and now we're pretty much ready to save it as an SWF file for our presentation. One thing I want to point out is if your logo has transparency, as this one does here, then you're going to want to make the background, or what we call the canvas color, match the background that you're going to use for the sidebar in your presentation. And that's because the logo panel in Presenter doesn't support transparency, so the transparent background is simply going to show up white. So this is pretty easy to do. You'll select the Image tab in Snagit, use the Canvas Color drop-down, and then use this last option, Select Color from Image. So now we've got this eyedropper, and we can simply select the color we want. Alright, so then we're ready to save it. We'll click the Save button on the toolbar, and then Snagit tells us if you want to keep your hotspots, you're going to have to save it as one of these image formats, which is fine because we want SWF. And then click OK. And it will save it as a SWF file in the same folder where your logo is stored. And I'm going to double click on this to launch it in Swift Player so you can see it. And sure enough, there are our three hyperlinks. So then you would, in Articulate, go to Presentation Options and import this into Articulate Presenter as a logo, and then publish your presentation, and just make sure that you select this particular logo when you publish. And one last thing I want to point out is you'll need to set the Player Template, Other tab, Presentation Size to lock presentation at optimal size. And the reason you need to do this is when you're using a SWF file that was created by Snagit, Snagit adds some code to the SWF file that will override the other setting, which is Scale Presentation to Fill Browser Window. So if you choose that option, it will look something like this. It's going to override that setting and force your presentation to the upper left corner of the browser. So that's not necessarily desirable. And so you'll want to lock your presentation at optimal size. So that's how you can add hyperlinks to logos with Snagit.